The South African Municipal Workers Union has expressed its anger at what it says is a sluggish pace and disrespectful nature of the current salary and wage negotiations for the country's 257 municipal workers under the South African Local Government Bargaining Council. From July 23rd to 26th, parties in the Bargaining Council engaged in the second round of negotiations with SALGA, representing the country's municipalities. SALGA, which was initially offering a 3.3% increase, has moved to offer up to 3.75%, accompanied by a one-time ex gratia payment of $3,000 for workers. These are workers earning below $22,000. For more on this standoff, we'll be speaking to SALGA and the union as well in just a bit of a moment as we try and establish that line to them. But essentially, at the heart of this matter is that we've got a situation where the unions feel as though the 3% is an insult and is clearly a situation where SALGA does not necessarily appreciate the situation or the cost of living for most municipal workers currently. So they have opted to say when they go for the third round of negotiations, that specific amount must be increased. I believe we have SALGA's Collective Bargaining and Labour Relations Senior Manager, Zwe Ndlala. Mr. Ndlala, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm sure you've seen the fiery statement by SAMU. They say your offer basically shows you have no regard for workers' financial struggles. You moved from 3.3% to 3.75%, accompanied by, of course, that $3,000 payment. Your response to this?
Good morning, evening, Bongas. Look, I cannot align myself with that kind of a statement because we know what is the plight of our municipalities because the finances of our municipalities is in the public domain. So it is therefore unthinkable that you can consider a 15% demand that we have been seized with. So it's important that everybody must be awake to that kind of a reality.
But they say you claim that you're offering an inflation-linked increase, and they say that this is deceitful as the current offer is far below the 5.1% inflation rate. You believe that even taking it to 5.1% at this point is impossible?
Look, when you consider our offers, Bongas, you also have to take into account other hidden benefits, not necessarily reflected in the percentage that the employer might be offering at a given point in time.
Talk us through those hidden benefits. Pardon me for interjecting there. Can you please just take us through those? For
instance, you need to take into account the notch increments, which is sitting at about 2.5%. That you must add to that offer of 3.75%. Already we are in the zone of the inflation, as you have just confirmed here that inflation has been recorded at 5.1% for the month of June year on year.
And then talk to us about the municipalities you've decided to exclude from the increased negotiations. How many municipalities are excluded and why is this? Because again, you've got a SAMU here that says the rising cost of living would mean that no municipality, even though they're struggling, should be excluded from these increased negotiations.
Ma'am, we entered these negotiations already having about 157 municipalities that have been recorded as in financial distress by the National Treasury. Our position is simple, that you cannot, in terms of the Municipal Finance Management Act, be associated with the bankrupting of our municipalities. So what we have then said to the unions they need to consider is that we need to simplify what we refer to as the exemption procedure, which is a kind of a remedy that is made available to municipalities that are in financial distress. We have undertaken to rework the exemption procedure from the current, which is very problematic for municipalities, and we have availed that procedure to the unions for them to apply themselves on that exemption procedure, because it will only be the ticket that we will use for us to include all the financially distressed municipalities in these negotiations.
All right. Mr. Ndlala, thank you very much for your time this evening. That's Zwe Ndlala, SALGA Collective Bargaining and Labour Relations Senior Manager.